the Trump MAGAverse is just falling apart and very upset about Trump's response and his administration's failure to release the Epstein list. But this is just a giant distraction from all of Trump's other failures. Trump has so many failures that he's using this failure to distract from everything else he's screwed up. And I think none of this matters to the rest of the country. I'm Shant Karnikian. That's Brian Kabateck. We're two attorneys at Kabateck LLP with a nationwide practice. This is our podcast, Civil Action, on the Legal AF Network. Brian, what do you make of all this?
Well, I mean, let's have a little bit of fun with this, shall we? Because this is absolutely ridiculous. And I know that there are people out there probably listening to this that think that this is more of a significant issue, but I want to put it into context. So let me start with the context by saying that the MAGAverse was built on these conspiracies, right? On some absolutely ridiculous, ludicrous theories like birthright, like, Obama's birth certificate, and which led up to QAnon, which led to Democrats eating children in a secret pizza parlor a basement which didn't exist, and frankly, dangerous things that happen as a result of this. But these conspiracies have gone forward and gone into this Jeffrey Epstein issue. Now, I want to be clear about this, is that I don't know what happened with Jeffrey Epstein. I don't think we're sitting here today saying that there's a client list or there's not a client list, but I just am taking such delight, and of all things, for the MAGAverse, for the Trump world to sort of spin out of control on, is this Jeffrey Epstein story. I mean, you've got, I want to just mention the three primary cast of characters here. You have Don Bongino, a former Secret Service agent and a podcaster who's now one of the top people at the FBI, Kash Patel, far and away my favorite name of anybody in the Trump administration. Kash Patel sounds like he should be a DJ, and the director of the FBI, and Pam Bondi, all of whom stake some of their career, if not their entire career, on fueling this conspiracy, who have now come out and said, there's nothing here to see.
Yeah, on fueling these types of conspiracies, draining the swamp. That's the battle cry for the MAGAverse, right? For these far-right Republicans. Draining the swamp, exposing the pedophile sex rings in the Hunter Biden laptop and all this nonsense. And here we are now, the Trump administration that has almost complete control over the executive, over the FBI, and over anyone that could get to the bottom of this. There's no list. We're not going to release anything. And they're breaking what was already a nonsense campaign promise, right? I'm going to release the Epstein files and the list. And that was already like, why would that even matter to the average American, to the hundreds of millions of Americans in this country trying to make a living, trying to get by, trying to provide for their families, trying to give their kids a better life than they had, upward economic mobility. Why do they give a shit about the Epstein files? But a lot of people, put a lot of weight on that and voted for Trump because he's going to drain the swamp and get rid of corruption and expose all these fantastical things. And here we are now. No Epstein list, no files, nothing to see here. Epstein who, and I'm not saying that we should pursue this. Like you said, Brian, I'm not saying there is a list. I frankly don't care. It's just funny to see that this nonsense campaign promise that they sold to their loyal supporters is now sort of vanishing, and they're in a panic. It's just really wild.
I don't want to buy into this. I mean, there's information out here. There's information floating around. I think the first thing you have to recognize is that a lot of the MAGAverse, a lot of these Trump supporters, they thrive on this kind of stuff. They live on this kind of stuff. I've said before that sometimes conspiracies are small-minded people who think they have secret inside information, that they know something that nobody else knows, because look at this, and I've tied this to this point and this to this point. And I'm not saying that conspiracies don't exist, but I think you hit the nail on the head, Shant. I think this country has, in fact, I know this country has, and this world has a lot bigger problems than Jeffrey Epstein, his client list, and the other, whether or not he committed suicide in jail or whether or not he was murdered in jail. It makes a great story. It would make a great Netflix movie. But right now, just a couple of days ago, the United States government, the Trump administration, defunded billions of dollars from schools to help children. And we're sitting having discussions about whether or not this Epstein file is a relevant issue. And I think that the first thing you have to recognize about this is this doesn't deserve the time and energy that they're putting into it. However, in order to see the Trump world unspool, that's going to be my new word here, unspool. I love this. If this is what they unspool over, is Jeffrey Epstein and the promises about turning over the so-called client files, then let them unspool over this. Meanwhile, there's a lot of other things going on there. If this is the distraction that these people want to have, and this is the distraction that they want to go down, the road they want to go down, let them.
Yeah. It just goes to show how kind of thin their playbook and their plan is, that this is what does them in, right? It's not the economic policy. It's not the terrible judges. It's not disregarding court orders. It's not crazy immigration, unconstitutional immigration raids or fights over that. It's like, oh yeah, this stupid conspiracy theory, whether there's validity to it or not, I don't know. But this stupid conspiracy theory, this is what does them in. This is the straw that breaks the camel's back. I mean, I think it's just crazy. And you're absolutely right.
I'm reading a poll, Shant, that the Democracy Institute has 72% of working class voters want Epstein's files released. Now, I don't know if that's before or after the most recent developments. I do know that this is a large part of the MAGA-verse that believes this and wants this released. Look, there are people on the Democratic side too. And my advice is Democrats should put this issue on the shelf, or at the very least step back and sit on the sidelines and watch the unspooling, my new favorite word, the unspooling of the administration over this issue. Is Pam Bondi going to lose her job? Sure, great. I mean, look, they came into office promising that there was a client list, that promising that they had evidence, concrete evidence, that there was some kind of a conspiracy to murder Jeffrey Epstein in his cell because he had all kinds of bad information. And of course, the MAGA people thought that it had something to do with Clinton or something to do with Republicans. I don't know what they thought. Frankly, I have no idea what they thought. But let's assume for just a minute, Shant, that this was accurate, that there is nothing there. Move along. There's nothing here to see. Then, why are they still so obsessed over this? Is this part of their personality, Shant?
I mean, I think it is. I think it's ingrained in the far right MAGA DNA. Conspiracy theories, exposing things about people, they're obsessed with QAnon, though, that whole issue. I mean, because look, you said it before, conspiracy theories are a lot more interesting than the truth. It's a lot more interesting for there to be some secret list with Hillary Clinton on it and children being eaten by Democrats in a pizza parlor's basement. That's a lot more interesting than the truth that Jeffrey Epstein was a child sex trafficker, and he had some high profile, high net worth people that were his clients, and sure, maybe there are politicians on it, but like, how does that affect the day to day lives of people? None of it matters. But they chose to bet on this. The extreme right, the far right Republicans, the MAGA-verse, chose to bet on this. They made this their rallying point. They made this their big selling point leading up to the election. And now it just goes away now, and it's all starting to come back to bite them in the ass. That's what happened.
I'll give you my final thoughts on this, Sean. I think, first of all, as I sit here and think about where we are at this moment in time, we've got two major wars going on in the world. We've got hunger. We've got problems, health problems in this country. We had horrible floods in Texas where, more than 100 people were killed. We have children going to school without food because of defunding. We have a authoritarian in power in the White House, but we have world problems all over the place. And it comes down to this. I mean, I have to think about, these people and what they're all torn up about, and have to quote Bruce Springsteen. Bruce Springsteen, in a song called The River, has a line which is a dream a lie if it don't come true, or is it something worse? And I kind of wonder, is that's what's happened here? Is this dream of theirs now just nothing but a lie? Or is it something worse? And is this going to be the end of sort of MAGA as we know it? I don't know. It could be, but stay tuned. So as usual, Shant, you get the last word.
Well, I have a line for you. It's not as special as Springsteen, but play stupid games, win stupid prizes. I mean, that's what they got here. They chose to use this as a campaign promise. They chose to use this as something to get people to rally behind, and it's not coming true, and it's coming back to haunt them now. And this is what happens. And I think it's important for the country to be awake. I think it's important for the left and the right to now recognize this for what it was. A dumb, irrelevant conspiracy theory, a promise that we knew he was going to break, but one that doesn't even really matter when there's real things happening in this country that you mentioned. I think it's important to keep that in mind. I think it's important to see it for what it is. I'm Shant Karnikian. That's Brian Kabateck. We're two lawyers at Kabateck LLP. This is Civil Action on the Legal AF Network. Thanks for tuning in.
Can't get your fill of Legal AF? Me neither. That's why we formed the Legal AF Substack. Every time we mention something in a hot take, whether it's a court filing or a oral argument, come over to the Substack. You'll find the court filing and the oral argument there, including a daily roundup that I do called, wait for it, Morning AF. What else? All the other contributors from Legal AF are there as well. We got some new reporting. We got interviews. We got ad-free versions of the podcast and hot takes. Where? Legal AF on Substack. Come over now to free subscribe.